So the object that we cherish most is ourself. So we need to gain the wisdom that realizes the self that we normally see does not exist at all. So in order to do this, in order to realize how our self does exist and to overcome the hallucination, the mistaken appearance of a truly existent self, we need the first vital step, which is to gain a clear image of how our self naturally appears. We need to gain an image of this self that we normally see, inherently existent self, by bringing to mind. So the first step is to gain an image of the self that we normally see, inherently existent self, by bringing to mind or remembering or imagining a situation where we have an exaggerated sense of ourself or I, such as when we're put on the spot to do something, such as when it's very different for different people. Someone said, going to the dentist, a strong sense of fear. There's a strong I. There's an I, going to the dentist. I don't want to go to the dentist. Or some people are scared of heights. There's a strong sense of I. I'm going to fall. A strong grasping at this I. So we need to find or remember a situation where we have an exaggerated sense of our I. When we're embarrassed, angry, indignant, ashamed, we say the wrong words and we feel like we just want, the ground to open up and swallow us in. I remember for me an instance where I have a strong sense of self-grasping I. I remember when I first took my first driving test, I wasn't ready to take the test. I wasn't able to drive, but somehow they'd put through for a test, and so if you cancelled, you didn't get your money. So I thought, okay, just go through with it. So I wasn't confident really enough to drive and pass the test. So in that driving test, I had an examiner who was like an android, completely unhuman, just telling me the instructions and the commands. And I'd ask, can you be a bit clearer? And he'd just repeat it in exactly the same way, completely, like an android-like. And so, of course, I was nervous. And because he was like this, I was even more nervous. And at the end, of course, I didn't pass, of course. And at the end of that test, what I learned most was just how strong was my self-grasping and how I needed to eliminate it. Because after the test, I came out of the car and my legs were like jelly. And you can imagine, this strong sense of I, I can't drive. I don't know how to do this, and they're being mean to me. And so for me, it was like that was the biggest lesson, to see how strong is our self-grasping. Of course I wasn't going to pass, because I wasn't ready. But what was most painful was the grasping at myself I normally see. So there's a real self there that's having that test. Whenever we have to have an exam or a test, we can feel there's an I here that's like apprehensive, nervous. So that I, how does it feel? We just observe. It feels like it's completely solid and real. There's a real I here. And we're going to be seen as not very good, rubbish. They're going to know just what a fraud we are. Or whatever it is, we can feel there's a strong I appearing. And it appears to be completely existing from its own side, without depending upon the body and mind. So we need to imagine or remember such a situation where we have a strong sense of I, some exaggerated, extreme situation a bit. So this is the vividly appearing I, the inherently existent I, that we cherish so strongly, that we protect when we're criticized, and that we feel so proud of when we're praised. Yes, I did a good job. They finally recognized. So there's an I that feels, acknowledged.